Welcome to the Louisville Business Review, where we spotlight the best local businesses. Today we have with us a very special guest, Stephanie Heeb, owner of YourChoice Concierge, offering as needed flexible personal and administrative assistance. Welcome to Louisville Business Review. Could you tell us a little bit about what your business does and who are the people that you serve?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. My business was created to help make people's lives easier. So we help small business owners, entrepreneurs, busy families by taking their busy tasks off their plate so they can focus on more important items, things that only they can handle, or spending more time with their family. Our job is to become your productivity booster and stress reducer. So we cover a wide scope of administrative and personal assistance.
That's wonderful. And when did you start this business?
5 years ago.
All right. Wow. So it's been some time. You have some history, and this is your business. Do you own it 100% or you have partners as well?
I own it 100%, no partners.
Okay, very good. And could you describe to us just a little bit about your locations? Are you just serving Louisville or you serve other areas as well?
Sure, absolutely. We actually serve people across the United States. We offer remote services and on-site services, so it really just depends on the client and their need. But we have team members across the US and we have clients across the US.
All right. So you're not like most of the businesses that we interview that have dedicated employees. How many employees do you have on staff versus the ones that you contract out with?
We actually have no W-2 employees. We are all 1099 contractors. All of our team members have different skill sets, different backgrounds, different availabilities. We're constantly sourcing and recruiting because when clients come to us, they usually needed us 6 months ago. So we want to have somebody that has the skills to support them and can work around the client's schedule. So we have about 50 plus team members right now that usually we have a pretty quick turnaround when we have new clients ready to get started.
All right, very cool. And what was your inspiration behind starting this business?
I worked as an executive assistant for several years, 10 years, and I found out my position was being eliminated because our division was being eliminated. So I started kind of helping people on the side until I figured out what I was going to do, and found that there was a real need for people that needed flexible hourly assistance, that, people didn't necessarily want to hire someone 40 hours a week or didn't need to have someone 40 hours a week. So I wanted to create a business that kind of helped fill that gap and be able to get people the support on their terms.
Very cool. And what would you say sets you apart from other concierge services that are out there?
I would say it's our attention to detail and the fact that we are able to kind of support people based on their needs. So we don't just do, a certain task, we do all sorts of tasks. And again, we have a wide variety and a big team, so that we can jump in a multitude of areas.
All right. And you mentioned that you've been in business for 5 years. So you may have seen a lot of ups and downs in that period of time. Obviously, COVID also hit. How has your business evolved and how has COVID impacted your business?
Honestly, COVID helped out a little bit just because some people that were not as willing to get remote assistance before or virtual assistance before, it kind of opened their eyes to see that you can get quality support without having somebody sitting at the desk right next to you. And also, other businesses went through a hard time with COVID and had to furlough some people or let people go and didn't have the ability to hire someone back 40 hours a week or pay for those benefits. So we kind of became their in between, right? We were able to still get them some support so they weren't just left on their own, without them having to commit to that full-time employee.
Mhm. And who would you say is your typical client? And, could you share with us some success stories that you've had?
Yeah, again, I would say our most typical client is the small business owner and entrepreneur. Most of our success stories come from people that are growing rapidly and don't really have that administrative support or back end support. So we're able to kind of jump in and make sure that nothing's falling through the cracks for them and they can continue to grow without, suffering the consequences of letting things fall behind.
All right. And what have been some of your challenges growing this business to where you are now?
Um, Honestly, it would probably be just constantly sourcing and recruiting and finding people that are experienced as an executive assistant, administrative assistant, personal assistant, and making sure that we constantly have a full team ready to go.
All right. And when a small business or an entrepreneur approaches your company for the first time, what are some misunderstandings or myths that they may have that are cleared up once they hire your company?
I think most people just struggle with delegating in general, in the fact that, these small business owners and entrepreneurs, their business is their baby, right? So it is hard to let some things go. So it's really about working with these clients and letting them know that they can trust us, and that we're going to provide valuable support, so that they can relax a little bit and we can help them learn how to delegate efficiently and productively.
Great. And what is your vision for the business if you were to look forward 6 months to a year, maybe 5 years? Where do you want to see the business be?
Just continuing to grow, honestly, getting more clients, maybe having some territories in the United States managed by other team members, as we continue to grow, so we can provide more hands-on on-site support outside of Louisville as well.
Yeah. And why is that important to you as a goal?
I just think as far as, being a small business owner myself, being able to see that the business is accelerating and that I'm putting in my time and my effort into something that is going to be a long-term success is just important, continue to pay my bills. So, but also have the ability to let my team members grow in other aspects as well.
Mhm. And if someone was watching this and they felt inspired by your story and the fact that you've lasted this long in business and you're growing, what advice would you offer them?
Not to give up. It hasn't always been easy. I can honestly say I really haven't had much of a personal life the past 5 years, but I see that changing. I've put in a lot of time into setting up processes and systems and automations so that as we continue to grow, my job doesn't get continuously harder. So that taking those steps, although it seems, time consuming in the beginning, will help you in the long run.
Yeah. And how are you going about right now getting new clients?
Honestly, it's a lot of word of mouth and testimonials from our satisfied clients and just going out and networking and not being afraid to introduce myself to new people.
Well, you don't seem like you have any issues in being confident and forthright approaching people. So that's excellent. Now, you mentioned that you have a background in the corporate world, but in terms of entrepreneurship, have you ever always had this kind of spark in you, or is this something new?
Honestly, I just think it kind of developed in me as I was deciding what my future was going to be like. Before being laid off, I had always been promoted and given new opportunities within the companies that I worked for. I had always been at the companies long term. So it was kind of a shock to me to be put in the position to find something new, and I really enjoyed what I loved. And just seeing the relief and the appreciation from working with these individuals outside of the corporate world and how different it was, just kind of ignited that inside of me, and that made me want to keep doing it.
That's great. Um, Now, are there businesses and niches that you'd like to approach that perhaps you just started working with or haven't had as much experience with, but you feel like it could be a growth opportunity for both you and them?
Honestly, we've worked with a wide variety of business owners and with people with different backgrounds. So I can't honestly think of anyone in particular off the top of my head. that it just would be nice again to continue to meet new business owners and entrepreneurs and be able to provide that relief and get them that support that they need.
Absolutely. Now, as more and more people now are searching for businesses and services through the internet, how are you finding that the internet impacts your business?
I definitely think that being visual or, online presence is a big deal, especially social media, and keeping on top of, our website and our SEO and things like that. Because you're right, more people do want to get online. They want to chat with you online, not call you. So just making sure that we're quick to respond to online requests and things like that has been really important.
Yeah, it's very evident from your social media and your website that you have a very professional and consistent messaging, and it's evident also in speaking with you. Do you manage your own social media, or you have someone do that for you?
One of our team members actually does that. So I will occasionally ping her with if I have any inspirations or thoughts that I want her to run with. But no, that's handled by another team member. I'm a big believer in using our services as well. So if I can delegate something so that I can, focus on other things and grow the business in other ways, I'm definitely going to do that.
That is excellent. I mean, it's so important, the business that you offer in more ways than we can describe here, because really our most valuable commodity is time. And if you can delegate and free up your time, especially as a business owner, that's very, very valuable, because as you know, entrepreneurs wear many different hats at any given time, especially starting out. And you've been on both sides. You've been the assistant, the executive assistant, and then now you're running your own company, and you're helping other businesses delegate and do the same. And so I'm sure you can see it in a more unique fashion, at a greater scale than most businesses do, the importance and the benefit of delegating.
Exactly. Yeah, I tell people all the time, it may sound really cheesy, but you have to delegate to elevate.
Oh, I love that.
You just can't get it all done yourself as much as you want to. You have to be able to let go of some things. And it is hard. A lot of people get in the mindset where I'm too busy to show them what to do, or it's just easier if I do it myself. But you have to remember, if you take that little bit of extra time to show someone that, that eventually you get all that time back, right? That you're not doing that 30-minute task every day adds up to be a lot of time, and adds up to a lot of other opportunities for you to expand, or, even, I don't know, take a vacation if you want. So it is really important.
So, there's the old adage, a lot of entrepreneurs, especially ones that are founders themselves, they have this belief that if you want it done right, then do it yourself. But then what ends up happening is, as your time becomes more valuable, you're not supposed to be doing the tasks that you can delegate someone else to do for less hourly rate, right?
Right.
So a lot of entrepreneurs, they struggle with, okay, when to let go of control and how to let go of control. Is that something that you find that you coach them into that, or you help guide them into it, ease them into it?
Definitely. And we have some tips even on our website about the proper way to delegate and how to be most successful with our team. And it really is about knowing, how to give clear expectations and being able to give constructive feedback. There's always a learning curve when you're starting with someone new and you're delegating. So it's just important to be patient and be clear in what your expectations are and what you'd like to see in your results. And being able to, like I said, give that constructive feedback and delegate in I guess, appropriate, I guess, sort of way. There's just a right way to go about telling people they're not doing something right. So as long as you're, positive about it, it can be successful.
Absolutely. And not all business owners know the art of doing that, and I'm sure that you're well versed in that, given your experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we have different hourly tiers so that people can get the support that they need, without overpaying or having someone sitting around and twiddling their thumbs. But one of the reasons that we do that, and one of the reasons that we bill in advance, advance is because, again, people get in that mindset where I'm too busy, I don't have time to show you. Well, if you know you have a certain amount of hours to use a month, it kind of encourages you to put that time in. Again, it may take you a little bit more time in the beginning, but it's going to save you a lot more time in the long run. So it just helps people, remind people of that.
So if a business owner was watching this and they're interested to learn more about your services and your company, what would be the next steps for them?
They can go on our website. We have a lot of detailed information about our tiers and how it works, and tips to get started with us, and how to begin the process of delegating. They can also contact me, and I'd be happy to start that conversation and tell them more about how we get them partnered with a team member, and how our services work.
Wonderful. Are there any promotions or anything that you're running that you can offer our viewers?
Not currently at this time, but like I said, we offer very flexible services. They're month to month, so there's never any long-term commitments. We understand that businesses, they ebb and flow. So it really is the best way to get support without, paying for somebody to sit around and wait for you to give them stuff to do. We want to be involved. And we know, again, as a month-to-month service, that if we don't prove our value instantly, that you're not going to work with us again. So we do everything we can from the very beginning to make sure it's a smooth process and you're happy with your results.
Now, Stephanie, there's other organizations and companies out there that, offer freelance services. Why would you recommend to a business owner to go to you versus, let's say, Fiverr or Upwork, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. So those companies are great, but they're also a lot of work. So it is, you're reviewing resumes on Upwork and taking the time to interview and things like that. We kind of take that off your plate. We do all the sourcing and the recruiting. We've done the background checks. We do offer team member profiles. So if you want to have a say in your partnership and know a little bit about who you're working with, you can do that. But we take an approach where we kind of guide you in the partnership, right? So we've already got somebody that's ready to go, and you don't have to go through that process of getting them onboarded. We also take care of the payroll for you, and make sure that at the end of the month you have a detailed work log, so you know exactly what was worked on. So it's I would say maybe a higher class experience than working with one of those companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're freeing up their time, you're freeing up any headaches that they would have to deal with dealing with people maybe even halfway around the world. They're having to deal with someone that's relatively local right here in the US that knows how to run things and has vetted these people. And I think that's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. And, if there was ever a reason that you weren't happy with who you were working with, you also have the opportunity to come to us and let us know. And if you're willing, let us repartner you too. So you're not stuck with the person that you're not happy with, or you don't have to start all over in the recruiting process.
Yeah. What made you choose the name YourChoice Concierge as a company name?
Sure. So it actually started as executive concierge, and I felt like that kind of pigeonholed us a little bit, because we do offer personal assistance as well. So it's just to let people know that it's their choice how they want to use us and what kind of support we can provide.
That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we wrap up?
No, just a reminder that you have to delegate to elevate, and that we are passionate about seeing people succeed and helping people reach in their goals faster. And we would love to take some things off their plate.
Absolutely. Stephanie, thank you so much. It's been a real honor having you here.
Thank you again for having me.
Are you struggling to figure out the best ways to promote your business? Forget about the failed attempts and get your business featured at Louisville Business Review to experience the real-time conversion and aspire to new heights of success with greater exposure and ROI. Visit www.louisvillebusinessreview.com to get featured now.